Hi, and
Hello,
welcome.
everyone.
It shows 0 viewers, but I know that Muriel was out there because she posted.
Yeah, but she
Um,
left.
if
But
you are out there
yeah,
in the
doesn't
live
I
chat, please just comment something so we know you're here. What's
I
that, Jonathan?
I think sometimes it takes a second to tabulate because now there's one person.
Now there's one person. Yay!
It is broadcasting on Facebook, so there may be other people watching.
What happened to us starting out the stream with 12 people?
I don't know.
We need more people.
I feel like we had a good crowd.
Well, I hadn't been here marketing it on my Facebook, so that might have something to do with it. But I did today.
And I also released the announcement post really late, only yesterday. I will apologize for last week. I fell asleep around 8 o'clock and thought that I would wake up by midnight to join you guys, and then I ended up sleeping till 2 a.m. So I apologize. Sometimes it happens.
Well, you're an old man. They go to bed late or early.
I did notice that in your reading last week, since there was no PowerPoint, you used Logos. And I think that's not a bad idea. So I think we're going to start just using Logos because it has all of the resources that we can access by just clicking links and whatever. And that'll be easy. And also it has the apparatus of the BHS on the right side in my display. So you'll see that in a second. Instead of moving on to Judges, which I saw that you guys did, we're going to continue on in Joshua until the end of chapter 10. Chapter 10 is the chapter with the sun standing still, and I think it's going to be something interesting to read. So I figure we'll stay at it until then. Do you guys have anything to say before we get started with our Hebrew reading?
No, I am keeping an eye on Facebook so that we can see if there are any comments on Facebook. But if there is anybody watching on Facebook, you should. Oh,
Go to YouTube.
I had it invisible, so now it's visible.
Having your stuff invisible doesn't help.
No, it does not.
All right, so let's go ahead and get Colton. Do you have anything to say? Sorry, before we go.
No, I'm just glad that Jason's back. And I agree with Muriel. We're glad that is the only reason why you weren't here last week. So, so it's just good to have you back. Don't feel like
for the most part, I know that everybody's aware that I've been sick since forever. I had COVID 2 months ago, and the cough just sat with me. As far as I can notice, the cough is basically gone. So I'm feeling a lot better.
Mine's
That's
not
nice. Well, so I won't need to be muting the microphone and disappearing into coughing land. But let's go ahead and pull up the Hebrew of Joshua chapter 9. Let me go over the resources that I have open here. In the left window, I've got the Hebrew text of the BHS. BHS, Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartense. I would have Quinta, but we don't have Quinta for Joshua yet. On the right is the apparatus, textual apparatus, that we might have reason to go over. Don't mind muting your microphone when you're coughing if you could try to.
I tried. Sorry.
Huh?
I didn't have time. I'll try to do better.
No problem.
All right.
So we might make use of the apparatus during our reading if it's relevant. On the left side again at the top, we have the Dictionary of Classical Hebrew. What's it? By Klein, I think?
Klein's.
David Klein's. And then after that, I've got Halot or Halot, Hebrew and Aramaic Lexicon of the Old Testament. After that, if anybody's interested, the New International Dictionary of Old Testament Theology and Exegesis. It's just, it often provides some background on vocabulary that might be interesting. Each of these dictionaries or lexicon are basically linked up together. So if you look up a word, let's say love You just look it up. Ahava. Okay, it gives you the option, Ahava. Sorry, I just coughed without warning. Here you've got Ahava. Tells you word number 173. I don't have any idea what that means. I guess it's Strong's Dictionary.
We do have a new person, or at least
using
a new player.
I don't believe
Jonathan.
numbers. No, Jonathan's been here before.
Oh, he has? I haven't
Yeah.
noticed.
Hi, Jonathan. Welcome. I don't believe in using numbers to refer to Hebrew words, right? It's not a number. It's actually a word, ahava. And so it gives meaning. And when we go to the other dictionaries, you see that it's at the entry ahava. So they are linked together. That's nice. On the right side, if we need reference to English translations, we've got the NRSV, and it can be pulled up with other versions. I've got the Greek Septuagint here, and then the BHS apparatus. So that's what we're going to be working with today. I hope that it's useful. Let's go ahead and get started in verse 1 of chapter 9. At the end of this verse, we have a list of these Canaanite peoples or tribes. This should be compared to Deuteronomy, the beginning of Deuteronomy, because when they're about to enter the Holy Land, he lists the Hittites and the Amorites and whatever. And now we have, I'm coughing because I'm eating peanuts and they're like little pieces stuck in my throat. I'm not sick. All right, so let's get started. Verse 1. ויהי כשמוע כל המלכים אשר בעבר הירדן, בהר ובשפלה ובכל חוף הים הגדול אל מול הלבנון, החיתי, האמורי, הכנעני, הפריזי, החיבי, והיבוסי. And I missed the ve on the beginning of that word, ve-ha-emori. All right, and it was when all the kings heard. Okay, are all these considered Arab tribes? No. Canaan was not an Arab area. The Arabs came from the Saudi Peninsula around the beginning of the end of the 7th century AD. Before that time, they were not the inhabitants of the Levant or of Egypt. They were completely different peoples. They moved in and conquered. All right. Ki shma kol melachim is according to the hearing of all the kings. It means when all the kings heard. So, and it was when all the kings heard, Asher be'ever Yarden, this is defining the kings. Which kings are they? The kings which are on the other side of the Jordan. And now when you're saying about the other side, you're talking about within Canaan. Because we're looking at it from the perspective of somebody who is in the Transjordan and looking over. So then we give where these kings are located in the mountain. For example, Jerusalem is covered in it's an area that's all mountainous. Uvashfela. Ashfela is the area in central Israel that's flat, like Rehovot is in the Shfela. Uvechol chof hayam hagadol. And on, we're going to say on for the be prefix here, all the shore of the Great Sea, referring to the Mediterranean. So these are the tribes that are in the mountains, which are in the east side of Canaan, in the Shfela, which is in the middle, and then along the coast on the sea, so on the west side. So all of it's basically trying to cover the entirety of the land. El mul ha-Lebanon, up to, El is like toward or up to, opposite the Lebanon, meaning even up in the north. Okay, and these are the tribes: Hachiti, the Hittite; Ha-Emorim, the Amorite; Ha-Knaani, the Canaanite; Ha-Prizi, the Perizzite; Ha-Chivi, the Hivite; and Ha-Yebusi, the Jebusite. And the Jebusite, we will remember, is the tribe or the people that had control of Shalem, which is early Jerusalem. It says when David took Jerusalem, when he captured Jerusalem, he captured it from the Jebusites. It was a Jebusite city. That's kind of important. All right. Any questions about verse 1 before we move on? How is it going over there in Chatland? So Muriel and Jonathan are up. Colton is in there. Jonathan Beck, our Jonathan, is writing in there. And it's looking kind of active. Good. Who wants to go next? Jonathan, you're right after me on my screen.
Sounds good. You sound like one of my teachers.
Yeah. It's an easy way to do it because you just go left to right.
Yep. So,
verse 2.
Yes, sir. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧𝗢𝗢 להילחם עם יהושע ועם ישראל פה אחד. That's the end of it. Adonai said, Judah shall...
There's no God speaking.
Wait a minute. What am I reading?
וַיִתְקַבְּצוּ יחדיו להילחם עם יהושע ועם ישראל פה אחד.
I jumped to a different thing. Sorry.
I'm trying to get the line at the top. There we go.
Yeah, so they gathered themselves together as one to fight with Joshua and with Israel.
And the pe'echad generally means because it's a mouth, so it means with one accord.
Yeah.
Like in full agreement.
Yeah, I said, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I said, as one. To fight together as one, or gather themselves together.
וَيِتْקַבּْצוּ, what do you make of that verb? How would you parse it, or what is it?
That would be a 𝗕𝗑𝗦𝗘𝗏. Perfect, or past narrative, third common plural, or third masculine plural. And then...
No, it's common plural, right?
Isn't it? Well,
not
in the imperfect.
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧.
Not on the
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗧. That's a form.
Oh, wait!
I dropped my peanuts.
I heard something.
Yeah, the peanuts shattered on the floor. Anyway, I got excited about the verb. What can I do? The third feminine plural and the second feminine plural are words that we don't really use in modern Hebrew, but it would have been 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏. 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏. If it were feminine plural. So this is obviously masculine plural.
Which is what I said.
Yeah, you're right.
So they gathered together, and that's a 𝗕𝗑𝗦𝗘, and 𝗕𝗑𝗦𝗘 can be translated reciprocally or reflexively. And so I'm not sure if
they gathered themselves together, right?
Yes, they gathered themselves. I think you would call that a reciprocal use. Yep.
We had a discussion yesterday over.
And you want to talk about 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏? Because that's not.
I was thinking about Yachdav.
Oh yeah.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, I feel somewhat
justified.
Yeah, somewhat vindicated.
Yeah. I was saying that Yachdav, as far as I'm concerned, has a feeling of like a couple, like two people being together. But in this case, this is certainly more than two. So, yeah.
Right.
Lahilachem is?
This would be a nifal infinitive. And it's confusing because you see that H... Excuse me. And you might think of a hiphil, just seeing that H and a heric, but it would be best to memorize that nifal infinitives begin with H.
And lahilachem is a very common verb to fight.
Right. As a first new infinitive. Yep.
It's tied to lochem, a fighter or warrior, and to milchama, which is war. Milchama. You know the word for battle? The battle is won, but the war is far from over.
Well, No, but I would guess like something to do with 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗧, because that is to arrange the battle line.
It's the word krav. Kuf resh bet krav.
Krav.
Krav. You've heard of Krav Maga,
Yes.
the Israeli martial arts, right?
Yes.
Krav is battle.
Maga,
So
does
it's
it
a
come
touch.
from like naga, like to
Yes.
reach?
Yeah, Maga is touch.
Yeah.
So it's touch battle.
Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, now
All
we
right.
have 5 people. Welcome, new people.
Hello, everybody. If you're out there, don't forget to like the stream, please. It will do us lots of good. I hope. Yeah. All right.
I'm just
We're on verse number 3.
I'm just gonna go ahead and mute myself when I'm not explaining stuff.
Okay.
So
Verse 3.
bother you.
Verse
Yep.
3, yes? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
שמעו את אשר עשה יהושע ליריחו ולאי. And the inhabitants of Gibeon, they heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and to Ai. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yoshve. What is Yoshve?
Yoshve is the call plural masculine participle of Yeshav in the construct.
Okay. And why is it construct?
Because they are the inhabitants of the place of Gibeon.
Good. The inhabitants of Gibeon. All right. Shamu.
So here we have a katal, or perfect form of Shema in the third common plural, which is to hear. So they heard. The inhabitants heard.
Good. Yoshve Gibeon Shamu. Notice the word order. What is that word order?
Yep. Subject, verb.
Yeah. So it's broken the verb consecutive order to put it in the subject verb order with the object following after. Why do you think that might be?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Focus or emphasis.
Or background information.
Or backgrounding. Yep.
Yeah. So here, verb consecutive begins with Vayhi. Okay. And then it picks up in the next verse, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗡. Okay. And then in this one, suddenly say, and the inhabitants of Gibeon heard or had heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and to Ai. So this is providing background information that the inhabitants had already heard about what had happened. And so it's connected to the idea of these kings joining together to fight against Joshua and with Israel, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did you talk? Yeah. Did you talk about how the it's subject verb at the beginning because it's backgrounding, right?
Okay.
But
subject verb at the beginning because it's backgrounding. Okay.
But according to Homestead, these parenthetical statements, like there's one in Genesis 3, V'hanahash haya arum, right? The serpent was crafty. Topicalization is one of the things that causes inversion, and here we don't have topical. What did I say? Topical. We don't. I don't
remember the word. I can't line it. Can't back it up right now.
We don't have topicalization here because this is a new subject that hasn't been introduced yet.
Mm-hmm.
According to Homestead, in order for it to be topicalization, it has to be a character that's already part of the narrative. So then that means what we have here is just standard Hebrew word order.
Or background. It's it's stopping the narrative
Yes, it's also
and providing additional information that's not part of the string.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Colton, what you got going on there? The Google Drive key.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't
yeah.
mean to share the whole dang drive. Is there any way for me to delete that?
Yes.
Why? What did you want to share that with somebody?
I wanted to share the article that it was linked to. I didn't mean to share it to my drive. Is the thing. Last
All
week.
All right, I'll delete it.
I'll get the actual article pulled up and stuff. But last week we had that weird phrase of the Oz plus 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗧𝗢, and I had asked about it, and there's an article that was written. Let's see, hold on. This guy named 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗔. He says that the Oz 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗧 is an evidential strategy, is what he calls it.
Okay.
What the heck?
What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know, but I found it was recommended to me, and I just thought I'd share because we were kind of puzzled over it.
I wasn't puzzled.
I was, and I wasn't satisfied with it.
I quoted somebody that I don't know is right, but I just brought it up because it was freaking interesting.
All right.
Jason, the guy says that it's equivalent to the 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏, and that the 𝗥𝗘𝗏 form is the 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗧 is an assimilated Oz particle. So meaning.
Okay.
Yeah. It was.
You remember what verse it was in?
I want to say like 828, maybe 827.
Yeah, somewhere close to the end of 8.
Not that one.
Nope. It just starts with va'az.
It's 30. Is it 30 there?
As יבנה יהושע מזבח לאדוני אלוהי ישראל.
Yeah, so it's obviously in the past, but it's in the imperfective form. And so anyway, he calls
and it's not habitual or something like that. It's just something he did punctiliarly.
In other words, Colton, I don't know why I didn't say this, but this is what this guy would say is that this is the precursor to the Vav consecutive.
Yeah. So this is okay. Okay.
Does that make more sense?
It does. Yes.
Okay.
Just the first sentence of this dude's abstract, though, is the goal is he's trying to argue that the Oz 𝗥𝗘𝗏 construction has an evidential meaning.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
I think he means self-evident.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not read it. It was just recommended to me. I just thought it'd be a nice resource for people who were here last week and heard the conversation. That's all I was trying to get out. Because and this dude is at Cambridge or did his PhD at Cambridge, Oxford maybe.
Same difference. Just don't tell them that.
All right.
But yeah,
back
that's
to
all. That
verse
was it. Sorry
3.
about that.
Yeah, verse.
And moving on to it's fine. It's always good to provide links to things that people might want. Number 4. ויעשו גם המה בעורמה, וילכו ויצטיירו, ויקחו שקים בלים לחמוריהם, ונודות יין בלים, ומבוקעים ומצוררים. All right.
Lots of stuff to talk about.
You remember that Jonathan just now brought up the verse from Genesis chapter 3 about the serpent being cunning, a womb. Right? So that's what we have going on here with this noun that's built on the same root. Orma. Orma is cunning as a noun. So they also did in cunning, meaning that they were also trying to pull a fast one, right? And they went, let's see what this, okay, they're saying that some manuscripts instead of yitztayaru have yitztayadu. Litztayed means to get equipment. Litztayer,
it
looks like, to me it looks like the word for like being drawn. Litzayer is to draw.
It's a very good. Never mind. lost my train of thought.
Okay.
Sorry.
So let's see. I'm sorry that I don't have the meaning. The translation of the NRSV says that they prepared provisions, which I would say is probably based on the change of 𝗔𝗕𝗦𝗡𝗧 that's proposed to be 𝗙𝗓𝗦𝗧𝗑, from the idea of provisions, like something that food that you've hunted for, but also things that you need for going forth. I guess they needed things, right? They took sacks, barley. What kind of sacks are they? Sakim we use today just for all kinds of sacks, but I think they were like sackcloth.
Yes, it's sackcloth.
Mm-hmm.
It's certain.
Balim are worn out. So they took worn out sackcloth garments for their donkeys, I guess, to put on them so they could sit on them. V'nodot yain. Nodot yain is wine skins or wine something that you put wine in, right? It's funny because the word nod in modern Hebrew means like something that smells because you passed gas. Yeah, nod. All right. So balim is again worn out. So worn out wineskins. And we know the word bokeh is he split the sea like with Moses in the Exodus. So mevukaim are cracked or split. So they're wineskins that are worn out, cracked or split. And mitzorarim, it's from the word like tzor, like things that are, it's a joining together of things. So they've been sewn back together. These are worn out wineskins that are cracked or torn and have been sewn back together. Mended, I think is the idea. Any questions? Vayasu is from Asa. He did. Orma, we said, is related to Arum. Yelchu is halach. They went. Halach, halchu. This we said should have, instead of a resh, should have a dalet. This is what everyone goes with, I believe. All right. Chamor, donkey. Chamorehem, their donkeys. Chamorim, chamorehem, their donkeys. Nodot yain. Everything looks pretty clear, I think. Any questions about that in the live chat before we go to verse 5? You guys must be paying good attention, yeah? Let's pull that up real quick in Halot. Halot. So baka, basic meaning is to split. Right? To split, cleave, this is in the kal, force a breach. Right? In the nifal, to be split or to break forth. Piel, to split wood or tear things to pieces. Pual is the passive. A wineskin burst. So it's not just cracked, it's burst because the wine bursted. So it's burst and then sewn back together.
So, Jason,
right.
How do you tell the difference between a pual and a call passive?
Pual and a call passive. Generally, the call passive does not have a PL form of the root.
Correct. I was just testing you, Jason.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, this one does have PL, so this is pual. It's a pual participle, which is acting like an adjective. It happens a lot.
Even the parsers, I don't think Logos parses anything as a call passive. I could be wrong, but there's lots of call passives that I've run into that are parsed as puals. Well, also, like if we go over to Exodus chapter 3, with the burning bush,
So vayera malach Adonai elav belabat esh. Labat esh is probably lahavat esh, I think. Like lahava is a flame. Mitoch hasneh, from within the bush. Vayar v'hinei hasneh bo'er ba'esh v'hasneh enenu ukal. Enenu ukal could not be pual because enenu does not mark the past tense. It works with the participle. So ukal has to be a participle. Enenu ukal, not being devoured. So ukal is based on the kal, achal, he ate. Kal, passive. I think my logos is freezing up here because I stressed it out by going to Exodus.
You need
so I have to.
It's new computer
I
time.
do need a new computer. I need a Macintosh. Okay, it's moving.
Wow, that was
Joshua.
a long. Yeah.
We're
So
back at just 195.
I
with
guess
John.
nobody has any questions.
Yeah, I guess not. For those who are coming along later on and watching the YouTube video of the live stream, Colton has put up here the name 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗥 as evidential strategy in biblical Hebrew by Vladimir Olivero. If you're interested in that.
I'm going to Google evidential strategy because I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
That's what I'm hunting the article.
Providing evidence. Evidential strategies in receiver-directed talk.
Colton mentions that 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗪𝗔 was the one who argued it was an early Canaanite form of the 𝗥𝗘𝗦. There you go. That was for verse what? Verse 30.
What is an evidentiality strategy according to somebody's article on academia.edu, which I consider reputable? Categories and forms which have additional meanings to do with information source, which I think Homestead would call those information systems, and that's a very complicated topic. So maybe we could study on that.
I'll read let me just read what they have in their abstract here. The 𝗥𝗘𝗦 functions in these situations as an evidential strategy and is used to express the source of information. For instance, Exodus 15:1, which famously begins with Az Yashir Moshe, should be understood as then, as they say, Moses sang.
No. I think that's a fringe view.
I mean, I don't know.
It's just a paper that you can pull up and read for yourself and see what his argument is.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
It was just published in the fall of last year. So, I mean,
that's why it's a fringe theory. It's new.
But it was published in the Journal of Semitic Studies.
Yeah, it's legit.
Not all. You're saying it's fringe and new, and then you're saying it's legit. Go read the article and then make up your mind.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if something is on the fringe, I think it can be either accurate or not. If it's a fringe theory, as I understand it, it just means that not many people in the guild give it any credence. But if it's a new theory, it's not going to have credence to start out.
Has someone declared it fringe?
No, I just did. I just declared it.
So fringe. Go read the paper and then make up your mind.
Jason.
All right, verse 5.
First.
Is
it my turn?
Yep.
𝗔𝗜𝗦𝗪𝗏 balot. I'm getting sick of reading this. 𝗔𝗓𝗏𝗏 baragla. Sorry. Baraglehem. Uslamot balot alehem. V'cholechem tzedam yaveshaya nikudim. Hey, there's our nikudim.
It's funny that whenever I read this earlier, I read this as smalot, like dresses or garments, but it's got the lamed and the mem like interchanged. as slamot. Interesting, but it means the same thing.
Yeah,
All right.
so that is interesting. So, worn out and patched sandals were on their feet, and worn out clothes on themselves. This is bad writing. Oh, no, it's not, because one's sandals and one's clothing. I guess it's distinguishing shoes from garments. And all of the bread of their provision was dry and was crumbled, or had become crumbled, or something like that.
Or maybe moldy?
Or had crumbled. Yeah.
Is it dry and moldy? Oh, it says dry and crumbs. Okay, crumbled. There it is.
Crumbs or crumbled bread are a small pastry, a small cake which has a hole through the center and is speckled. But that's
it could be of stale bread. The stale bread is
mold
turns into crumbs.
Yeah, because stale means dry. Yep.
Very nice. What are you saying, Colton? You're popping in.
No, just the mold. The mold definition is right there, too. That's all.
Moldy. Spot or mold in bread. Yeah,
maybe that's what they mean by speckled. Speckled with mold. Could be.
Maybe.
Jesus Tales says, sounds like a bagel. Maybe.
That it's dry and moldy.
First Hebrew bagel. What a historic biblical moment. Bagels are still adored by Jews to this day.
So ne'alot, what's odd about that?
Because, well,
the plural of na'al.
You would expect, I think, an A-class vowel under the noon.
Normally it would be dual. Because it's two shoes, right? Na'alaim. Na'alaim instead of ne'alot.
Right.
Sandals or shoes. Balot we had before balim. Balim and balot, same thing, worn out. Mutulaot.
Yeah.
Mutulaot is also a hifil participle.
Yes.
Not hifil. Pual.
Pual participle.
Covered with stains. Mutulaot. Maybe patched up. Okay, on their feet. And slamot, we're going to look at it. Should be the same as simla. Salma is like samla or simla. It's the same basic word, just the lamed and mem have been interchanged. Mantle, cloak, garments, clothing. In modern Hebrew, it means dress.
Right.
Dress. Okay, worn out upon them, and all the bread, tzedam, you said, of their provision. Okay, let's get this up here, tzed, tzed. Normally, it refers to hunting, so it's animals that you hunt or catch, but it refers also to provision of food, right? So lechem tzedam is the bread of their provision, meaning the food that they had gathered before they went out on this party.
Syed, I got chastised for not knowing that means food. But
you got chastised? Why?
Because I didn't know it, and the professor expected me to know it. He's like, "You don't know that word?" And then everybody was like, "I don't know that word either." So I felt
that's not chastisement.
Well, yeah,
that's disbelief.
Yeah,
all right.
Your way of saying it's their way of saying get your head in the game. You should know this already. Right.
See, they were nice about it. They could have been just be like, "You idiot."
What's wrong with you? How come you don't know the word side?
He did call us. He did call us all ignoramuses one time.
I can't believe that I spilled peanuts and broke the bowl.
That's annoying.
Not my bowl either. It belongs to my roommate. She's going to be mad.
Hmm.
All right, number 6, Colton. How are we doing?
Good. Well, sorry, I took a minute to try and scan that article to find a halfway decent definition. He does have a whole section where he goes through that. Sorry, I just
Definition for what?
what he meant by evidential strategy. Yeah, but yeah, that's.
All right.
Go read it later. I got lost.
You're going to obsess over that article this entire session, ain't you?
I'll send you Homestead's article on information systems.
Yeah, that's fine. He does respond to Cook's.
What?
He does deal with Cook and how Cook approaches it. By the way, in there, I saw that. Anyway, sorry. No, I'm back. I'm back here. I'm back in Joshua. That's what matters. I closed the tab out. Vayelchu el Yehoshua el hamachane hagilgal vayomru elav el ish Yisrael me'eretz rahocha banu va'ata kirtu lanu brit. Okay, and they came to Joshua to the camp at Gilgal, and they said to him, into the man of Israel, from afar off, we have come, and now make with us a. Oh, sorry, I know. Okay, they said to the man of Israel, from a far off land we have come, and now make with us a covenant.
Yeah. So obviously this El Ish Yisrael doesn't make so much sense.
Right.
To the man of Israel. So we see in the comments. I don't see what the Septuagint, by commenting about the Septuagint here, is adding, because prosiesun is the same as instead of elav, it says like as if it were El Yoshua.
Explicitization.
Like this. Yeah. So they said to Joshua, the Septuagint says, and to, now we have here the remark that there are manuscripts of the Arabic version that says, instead of El Ish Yisrael, El Bnei Yisrael, to the children of Israel, or to the Israelites, as Jonathan likes to point out. Okay. The Septuagint in the OL and C. What is OLC? Origin, Lucian, and the 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘𝗏. I don't know this one. All right. And perhaps the Vulgate. Read instead the word panta. Panda means all. So it would be kol. So El Kol Yisrael is also a possible solution. All right. So the solutions would be to the children of Israel or to all of Israel, but this to the man of Israel is the more difficult reading, which is normally chosen by text critics. But because this isn't an eclectic text, it follows the Leningrad Codex. Ish Yisrael is going to be the text that's in the Leningrad Codex, and then you need to decide on what you think is the better actual rendering where it came from, right? Me'eretz rechoka, from a distant land. Rechoka is far away. Banu. All right, great. Kirtu lanu vrit. What is kirtu?
It is the call, imperative, masculine, plural.
Yeah. Of karat. And karat means?
To cut, literally, but in combination with brit, it refers to the making of the covenant.
So lichrot, brit, means to cut a covenant or to make a covenant. So in this case, cut for us a covenant, make for us a covenant. Great. Any comments, questions, corrections from within the viewing gallery? I guess not. Here we have again Ish Yisrael in verse 7. So, Vayomer, notice the pointing of the word, Vayomer. The Vav on the end is not pointed. Meaning that in the Ktiv, what is written, we have Vayomru, and they said. But in the Kri, what is read, it says Vayomer, he said. All right. If you look at the apparatus on the right, it says many manuscripts of the Targum are like, the ut means like, the kere, or kri, and the ktiv goes with the Septuagint, the Syriac, some editions of the Targum and the Vulgate, that they read uru, vayomru. So the manuscripts or the witnesses are divided on which we should read. If we go with vayomru, we should also change this to the plural, right? They said. So we have here Bnei Yisrael from the Septuagint, Hoi Yisrael, the children of Israel. All right, I'm going to change it to the plural because it just seems to make better sense to me. Vayomru Bnei Yisrael el hachivi, ulai bekirbi ata yoshev, 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗥𝗡𝗦, notice that's also ktiv kri, 𝗥𝗚𝗦𝗥𝗡𝗦. All right. The children of Israel said to the Hivites, perhaps, ulai, perhaps in my midst you dwell. Okay, so he's like, suppose you dwell in among us, right, in my midst. How shall I cut, or how shall I make for you a covenant? Notice the echorot, the vav is not necessary because this is joined with makaf to the word that follows it, lecha. And once that's the case, we have a shortened, closed syllable. So echorot is pointed with kamatz, and the vav should not be there, right? How shall I make for you a covenant? This verse actually, like the second half of the verse, bekirbi ata yoshev, �𝗚𝗦𝗥𝗡𝗦, is in the singular. Perhaps you dwell in my midst, and how shall I make for you a covenant? It doesn't say we, or our midst. So that would put weight back on the idea that Vayomer Ish Yisrael should be the reading, and then that would probably influence us on our decision in verse 6. This is all very interesting stuff. Any questions or comments? That's a good verse. It's fun. Lots of stuff in it. Right?
Yeah, and it's also correcting an error. You see that?
I see a couple of errors.
Orthographical error. Vayomer. There shouldn't be a sigil there.
No, there shouldn't be the vav there.
Well, there also... Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So it should be vayomer, and the vav should not be there. And it should be echorot with kamatz, short kamatz katan, and the vav should not be there. So these letters are left unpointed by the Masoretes to say that they should not be in the text. The vav here should not be there, and the vav here should not be there. Right?
Neat.
If you can see my mouse pointing at them.
Yeah, we can see.
All right, verse 8 with Jonathan.
Thank you. Excuse me. Sorry. Verse 8.
On the screen.
Well, I'm reading from my own logos. Excuse me. Vayomeru el Yoshua avadecha. Oh, this is what they're saying. Avadechna anachnu.
Avadecha.
Yeah. Vayomer alechem Yoshua. Miatem. Yeah. Ume ayin tavo'u.
right? We would say me'ayin batem. Where have you come from? Me'ayin batem.
Right.
But me'ayin tavo'u. Interesting. All right, give us a meaning of that verse.
Yeah. So they said to Joshua, "We are your servants." Notice, Jason. Yeah, I think
Yes.
Jason would agree with this. Avadecha is being fronted. Avadecha nachnu. Ordinary Hebrew word order would be, or unmarked word order would be, anachnu avadecha, but it's flipped because it's emphasizing this is what they call a focus constituent, focusing on the position of the men rather than the men themselves. Right?
I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. For me, this is completely natural word order.
Yes.
Anachnu avadecha, we could say, but avadecha anachnu, we are your servants, seems normal. It seems like a normal word order to me.
Well, Jason, we have decided that the most common is not necessarily the standard.
Yeah, but
right. But I mean,
it just seems to me in nominal sentences that have a pronoun as the subject, it's normal to front predicate nouns and predicate adjectives.
He does not say that. So you do disagree.
So you'd say Gadol Adonai, great is the Lord. The Lord is great. Gadol Adonai.
You could say Adonai Gadol too.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. But the normal, I think that by far the most common, Gadol Adonai, Avadech Anachnu, just these nominal sentences.
Unfortunately, the Logos AI does not yet do linguistic analysis.
Or syntax?
Or that's what I mean. Yeah, syntax analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what did Joshua say to them?
He said to Joshua said to them, "Who are you, and where are you going?" Or where are you coming from, rather, not where are you.
Where are you coming from? Yeah.
Whence?
From whence do you come?
From whence?
Whence come thou? Yeah. Come thee, ye.
Yep.
All right. Mi atem u'me'ayin tavo. Me'ayin is used in modern Hebrew. We just say from where.
I have 7 minutes.
Me'ayin.
By the way.
7 minutes till what?
Till we hit
till the end.
Yep.
So me'ayin is used even in modern Hebrew, but it's far more common to say me'efo. Me'efo. In the Bible, you have the question word ayeh. Ayeh is where. It can be like saddled up to the word after it in construct as a, like a aleph with a yod and sere. Me'ayin tavo. From where shall you come? If we're thinking that tavo is the 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗘. It is 𝗥𝗘𝗦, but obviously it is. Let's mute you while you're typing so quickly and loudly. Tavo is obviously referring to the past. Where have you come from, or where are you coming from? Right? So it is not referring to the future. Sometimes things are overridden. You just have to read it for what it says and understand, obviously, what it means. Me'ayin tavo, where are you coming from? So, cannot refer to the future. Great. Mi'ata. All right, one thing about syntax, Vayomer Aleihem Yoshua. It's really common for attached prepositions that have personal suffixes to follow directly after the verb in close association before the subject. So you might expect Vayomer Yehoshua Alehem because you've got subject verb inversion with the Vayikol. Vayomer Yehoshua. But these prepositions, le, be, el, and so on, that have personal suffixes attached to them, can separate between the verb and the subject. And that's when they're closely associated with the verb. So, vayomer alehem, this is normal. When you speak, you have to speak to someone. So he spoke to them, Joshua. And that's a very common word order syntax for that structure. All right, Colton, you are taking number 9 and leading us out.
All righty. ויאמרו אליו מארץ רחוקה מאוד, באו עבדיך לשם אדוני אלוהיך, כי שמענו שומעו, yeah, thank you, ואת כל אשר עשה במצרים. Okay. So they said to him, from a very far land, your servants have come.
Your servants have come means we have come, right? And here we have ba'u in the katal, the normal past tense.
For the name of the Lord your God, which we have heard. It's
because we have heard.
Yeah, because we've heard its report and all which he did in Egypt.
So probably not its report, but we have heard his report. We've heard his, like a report of him, right? We've heard report of him and everything that he did in Egypt. Fantastic.
Why would I
again, Eretz Rachokah, a distant land. What's that?
Why would I say it's? What am
I don't know.
I'm extracting.
You were pairing it together with Shem Adonai Elohecha.
Yeah.
And its report, the report of the name.
Yeah.
But it's actually a report of the Lord God.
Yeah.
Because it is reflected in the next phrase, which he did. He did cannot be the name of God, but it has to be God himself doing it.
Yeah, I was abstracting out to the name instead of the person whose name the individual whose name it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic. That is the end of our reading for today. I don't know where Jonathan went. He just kind of disappeared, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Maybe his system locked up and he had to drop out. But that's the end of this session. We are going to be picking up with exercise 21 of Wine-Green that we were supposed to do last week, but due to my absence, it was not done. So please come over to Wine-Green. The link is on the live tab on our YouTube channel. If you haven't liked this live stream and you do like what we do, please hit like, please subscribe to us, and come back next week. Muriel, you are very welcome, and we'll see you in Wine-Green in a couple of minutes. Bye, guys.
Bye.